The third step of the marketing process is to establish market objectives or marketing objectives. It doesn't really matter which one you say. The objectives are really goals. So goals for the future, and the strategies need to work towards those goals. So something that it gives a better impression for the marketers is rather than saying goals, just keep writing objectives. It's just something you could do. Anyway, when it comes to the objectives, the goals are going to affect what the strategies are. So an opposite strategy might be used depending on what your goal is. What are you trying to achieve? So, for example, if your objective is to increase your market share, you might lower your prices. But if your objective is to just increase your revenue for the next 3 months or something, you might increase your prices, right? So those are opposite strategies for different objectives. When you're making these objectives, the objectives should be smart. And this is, if you're going to do business, and God, if you really want to, then go for it. But if you're going to do business, especially if you're going to do things like management and marketing, you are going to get so incredibly sick of these acronyms, of these, objectives should be SMART. What does SMART stand for? Well, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. And all of those things kind of make sense. Like, it has to be specific enough so you know what it is. It has to be measurable so you can find out whether you've actually done it. It has to be achievable and realistic. You have to be able to do it. The only one that people get a bit stuck on is timed, or you could write time bound, because you do need to have a time limit. So a smart goal would be something like, okay, our objective is to increase Australian sales, so being very specific, increasing Australian sales of product A, whatever it is, by 10% over the next 12 months. So that you know it's going to be only for the next 12 months or the next 3 months or whatever. And it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and it's timed. The objectives are usually about those four things. Your objectives are usually going to be about sales. They're going to be about increasing market share. They're going to be about new products, introducing new products. Or they're going to be about new markets, new places, or new people to sell these products to. So those are what the objectives are usually about. So if you get asked about establishing market objectives, and it might say, give an example, you can just give that example down the bottom. But if you're making examples, say in a section 3 question where you might be asked, okay, establish some market objectives for this business, you might go, okay, obviously sales. Everyone's going to write sell more, right? But you have to make your objectives smart. You have to say things like increase sales by 10%, blah, 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 the next 12 months. But you also should focus on things like market share. As businesses get larger, they focus more on market share than the actual sales themselves. They're not really that focused on what the sales are. So if you look at Coles and Woolworths, they're having this big battle, which really isn't a battle as you would usually understand it, but they're having a battle over market share. Right? Woolworths has been the larger one for a very, very long time. It's been the larger business, but it doesn't matter for Coles. Coles is winning because they're increasing their market share. Right? So businesses, as they get larger, focus more on market share. The idea of having new products and new markets, it could be a goal like introducing this new product to this new market, by October next year or something like that. So these are market objectives that the business is going to have, and those are the things that they're usually about.